where brevity is paramount.
Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of Chet and John's reassuringly finite gaming playlist. My name's John Denton. With me, as always, Chet Roivas.
What's happening?
So if you've not heard the podcast before, 1, what have you been doing? 2, it's about 2 top 10 lists. We duel them back and forth, 10 being the game we played the least this week, 1 being the game we played the most. And because we're both lucky enough to work in the industry, we've played stuff that's not out yet or is just coming out for review. Exciting. Enough wittering, on with Chet's number 10.
Right, okay, my number 10 is Tap Tap Revenge 4 on the iPhone.
I didn't even know those still existed.
You know about that series?
Yeah, that was like one of the first touch iPhone games, wasn't it? I had it on my iPod Touch back in the days.
Yeah, it's just basically Rock Band. I downloaded it because there was that story last week about how EA had shut down the ability to play the Rock Band on the iPhone, which I thought was a bit... and then it turned out it was bollocks. But yeah, I downloaded Tap Tap Revenge 4. Apparently Tap Tap Revenge 4 is actually Tap Tap Revenge 1, but the additions that they've made is sort of like version 4.
Okay.
I didn't play it for very long. I mean, it's cool. It's quite neat. But the way that they give you songs didn't seem to make any sense to me. You play 30 seconds of a song, and then they say, "Do you want to buy it?" No. Play another song. It downloads in full, and then the same thing sort of repeats.
That's weird.
Yeah, I still don't understand how you're supposed to progress and whether there's enough music to sustain it if you want to play it for ages. But yeah, it's fine. It's quite a good knockoff.
Yeah, the last one I played had a bunch of Weezer songs, but that was years ago.
It's got 4
or 5 years ago or something.
It's got all of the songs I played had a similar sort of air, kind of sort of college rocky, and a little bit of pop music as well. But yeah, it's a decent enough time waster, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of forgot it even existed.
Genuine.
My number 10 is Gridrunner again. It's my game that I kill 5 minutes with every now and then. I've not replayed it that much this week, but yeah, it's just my little time killer. I've talked about it loads. Is it on your list this week? You said it might be.
Number 9.
Okay. We might as well go straight into your number 9 as well then, so you can see what you think about it.
It's fine. It's good enough. It's just Centipede.
There's a few different things going on there.
Yeah, I mean it's a slightly expanded Centipede, but the one thing that really bothers me is that you can't. It gets hard very quickly, and you've got to avoid so much shit on the screen, and your finger's always covering your ship.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And I'm like, I can't really. You need a bit more precision than that. I'd love to play. I mean, I assume there's like an Xbox Live version or something.
I don't know if there is. I mean, it's really old, the original game, but this version I think is just for the iPhone. I mean, as I played it more, you kind of learn to sort of lift your thumb. I played with my thumb, not my finger. Lift your thumb off and replace it, and try and not cover your ship, but. Yeah, it'd probably be better on an iPad or something where you've got a bit more room.
I prefer it with a pad, personally. I mean, it's nifty, it's cool. I mean, I think it's good, but that bothered me. Also, there is a bit of sort of lag, really. If you have to whip your ship over to the other side of the screen, it's...
I've got no lag, but maybe that's because your phone's a little bit older than my one, isn't it?
No, not anymore. I've got the new one, boy.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice one. I've had no lag.
Well, it's ever so. I mean, I play cave shooters, so I notice the tiniest bit of input delay. I mean, it's not massively significant, but you know, when you get to level 4, it's so chaotic that you've got to sort of move really quickly. And occasionally, I've been sort of killed because it didn't do what I told it to. But yeah, it's a cool little game. I'm happy I paid 69p for it, and it's going to be. I'll get it out randomly, you know, for as long as I've got that phone.
Yeah, it's my 2-minute killer.
Yeah, and on that basis, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Genuine.
So it's my number 9 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is my normally about million-hour killer, but I've not had much time to play it this week. It's Trials. Everybody knows about Trials. There's not much more I can add to it, considering I've barely played it this week. But Trials. I've been trialsing. My kid brother came to see me, so I just showed him a couple of games. He hadn't played Trials before, so yeah, it's there's nothing interesting for me to add to that. As terrible as that is to say, everyone knows about Trials. It's very addictive and dangerous.
Yeah, it's been a slow week. Trials is higher up on my list, so I'll get to that. But I don't really have a whole lot to say about it either. There's not a lot to say.
Yeah, it is a slow week. I guess that's indicative of the time of the year. But fear not, there are some interesting things later on in the lists and in the middle of the list as well. But not Trials for me this week.
All right. Well, I'll get to Trials later on, and I'll speak about it for all of about 10 seconds. Okay, my number 8 is Sniper Elite V2, which I finished off, and yeah. still like it, but it gets more and more problematic as it goes on, and it relies less on sniping, which it's a bit of a mystery. I can see what they were doing, if you were a sniper, and the aim is to make this a kind of sniper simulator sort of.
Yeah.
You would be in loads of situations where you have to sort of stealth around with a pistol and whatnot, but it's just not as fun to do. Obviously, you want just everything to be. I'd have been much happier if everything was just you're standing in one place, snipe a million people repeatedly. I'd pay 40 quid for that because that's the kind of game I like. But I've been doing some multiplayer as well. Have you done any of it?
Not really, no. No, because when I was reviewing it, it wasn't out, so there was nobody online. But yeah, I had a quick squizzle at some of it.
Yeah, it's pretty solid online. I've been doing kill tally, which is horde basically, where they stick you at one side of the. I thought it was going to descend like the single player game into the later waves. You're running around with a machine gun or a pistol, but it doesn't. You're pretty much landed at one side of the map, and then they run at you from another side. It's really, really simple, but it sort of illustrates the best things about the game. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is fun, and that kill cam will live on forever.
Probably, until someone makes the next game and it's even more extreme.
Can you imagine? How are they going to get more extreme than that? I suppose individual ribs shattering and... Yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
Well, yeah, it's pretty nasty as it is.
So my number 8 is, as I've said, and I'm sticking to it, I'm going to inch through week by week, is The Witcher 2. I had an inkling that I was going to ditch it this week just because I thought, right, this is my little gap where I can really play it before the games start coming out again, and I just haven't really had time. And then whenever I put it on, it's one of those games where I feel like I need to warm up. When you play a tough game, and you need that first 20, 30 minutes to get into the mindset of it.
But all you do is warm up, aren't you? I bet you're still in Flotsam.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know, but what can I do?
Ignore the side shit and just go ahead and sort of progress.
I know, but then I've done that in other games before, and then you're not leveled up enough by the time you get to the end guy. End guy crawl.
No, it's not really like The Witcher 2 is not like that. It's surprisingly, although it is tough, it is surprisingly forgiving. I mean, like when I got stuck into that, when I forgot to eat that potion before I went and fought that massive thing in the ravine.
Yeah, and you can still do it.
I mean, it was hard.
Yeah.
I just had to play differently. So I mean, it can be done.
Do you know what? All right, I'll just do that then.
But you're missing the meat, the best part.
Yeah, because I want to do the story. That's what I want to do in that game. So I will do it.
Cool. Well, yeah, do that. It's gleaming. Okay, right. My number 7 is Rock Band 3.
Oh, really? I'm going to play that next week. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say something about that news story that EA was shutting down the iPad. Well, it was twofold. It was, first of all, the announcement that EA was shutting down the iPhone version, which they then went back on. I said that wasn't happening. And the news that there was Rage Against the Machine DLC coming out.
Yes, that's what I'm going to get.
It wasn't out when I played it because we stuck it on a Friday night, but I did buy Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
How is that?
Oh, great!
Does it have keyboards?
Yes, of course. That's why it's gold. Anything that has keyboards in it, that's great. So me and the missus were played it for played pretty much all night. It's still got the magic. But having songs like that, we did playlists. We picked out songs like that. So I bought that. I got like Turning Japanese by the Vapors. Stuff like that. And it reminded me that when the first Rock Band came out, I really found it a little bit like because it was like Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really want to play games like that. That's why the first Guitar Hero is so memorable because we'd all just get drunk and play More Than a Feeling on a loop because you want something where you can just be completely stupid and sort of,
Yeah.
Serious music and Rock Band don't really go. But I wanted to buy the Rage Against the Machine DLC. It wasn't available. But yeah, it's still.
I think it's out today. In fact.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm going to pick that up. But it's still. You never got the keyboard, did you?
Yeah, no, I've got a keyboard.
Have you?
Yeah, I played it solidly for about 2 days and then put it away. And I've since moved house and I don't even know where it is. I've not played Rock Band once since then, but I really liked it. I was like, I'm going to teach myself piano on this bad boy.
Yeah.
But then I did. Yeah, but I always think that. But yeah.
I'm not playing.
I'm quite excited to play it again. So I've not played a Rock Band / Guitar Hero game for I think it's over a year now.
Yeah, I was in the same boat, and it's still gripping. I mean, I still think those games are great.
They were just oversaturated, weren't they? Really?
Oh yeah, I mean,
it was that last Guitar Hero that killed it for me. What was it called? The Legends? I don't know. The one with the story with Gene Simmons.
Yeah, that was painful.
That was kind of everything I hate about what. It's not about rock music, about what people think rock music is.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. and that Rock of Ages musical, spit.
Yeah.
But Rage Against the Machine is everything I do like about that about rock music. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Genuine, yeah. 8.
Right, was that your number 7?
Yep.
My number 7 is UFC 3. Like I said, my brother came to see me. I haven't seen him for ages, so we had a couple of ruckuses. There was a proper UFC on the weekend, and because we're still children at heart, we just try to like recreate what we saw on the telly on the game. It's much better, as I always assumed it would be and knew it would be, with another person, as these games always are. When you get the right person, you can kind of, instead of just competing in a game like that, you can kind of almost set it up a little bit. What I mean by that is, say if you try and recreate memorable moments that happen in fights, as opposed to just like clinically going for the win, there are easy ways to win in UFC, but we were always going for the more spectacular thing. If something awesome happened, we'd try and follow it up with like a flying head kick or something, rather than just boring ground and pound. Just made the game more interesting, more fun. When you play online, all people want to do is win. I don't know how much I'll play it on my own, but yeah, with other people, it's a fine fighter.
Did you play it at all online? Have they fixed it?
We didn't touch it online, though. I couldn't be fucked. I can't be bothered playing a game like that with people who are just there to win. Those games are more about the sort of drama of what happens, and there were always going to be little exploits. It's going to be very difficult for developers to iron out, because there's so many facets to the sport and the recreation of it. And yeah, maybe they have, but
well, no, I think
there'll just be another one.
Yeah, the only thing, it's like Battlefield. I think there are so many issues that constantly arise in that, but because it's such a popular game and DICE are always on the ball with it, they're there to change it. Whether THQ have got a team of people constantly updating UFC, I doubt it.
They're not in the best situation themselves at the moment as a company as a whole. So, and it's a first party game. You don't know. I mean, I can't talk. They may have fixed it. It may be beautiful online now, but I couldn't be bothered with finding out.
Genuine. Do you think it's better than EA MMA?
No.
Still not?
No, it does so many things better than EA MMA. It has so many more positions and sort of areas the fight can go. But in terms of just the pure spectacle, EA MMA just has some sort of magic dust sprinkled on it. It's like the old wrestling games on the N64. Just something about it makes the multiplayer games just magical. And I secretly kind of hope that, you know, if everything happens that may happen, that EA do end up with a license in a few years and they can get back to working on that engine.
Genuine. Okay, my number 6 is Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS.
Played a bit more then?
Yes, not so well. I've done 2 extra levels of the single player. I mean, it is just I like it more and more the longer I play it. And it's one of those games that I think is going to be in my 3DS for quite some time, because it's just so great to do a sort of 10-15 minute level, and then I'm looking forward to, and you know, coming across all these doors that are locked and you have to have done certain things. I'm looking forward to going through it again. I'm viewing it as a massiff package, and I'm really looking forward to going through the whole thing. So I think I'm going to be playing it for quite a while. You know, I've said everything. Everything I've said still applies. The music's incredible. The control scheme, once you grasp it, is great. It looks stunning for a handheld game.
Really does.
I played the multiplayer as well the other day.
I haven't tried that. How is it?
Pretty good. I mean, it's kind of disposable. It's just it's like a death match. I don't know if there was more than one mode. There was some kind of dynamic where once you're all dead, an angel will appear or something, and halfway through the game, I turned into Pit as opposed to some sort of generic character. So I didn't really understand the dynamics. It was essentially a death match, but what that dynamic brought to the table, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was really good fun. And unfortunately, I think I was playing against a load of kids who hadn't really grasped the controls yet, because there was a lot of shooting into walls and I was just sort of hammering them, so I felt a bit guilty. But yeah, it's fun. It's fast. It's like a console game, the way that it's sort of, you know, instant respawns and it's, you know, loads of action. The maps are quite well designed. It's quite slick. Yeah,
I might check that actually. I always forget it's even in there. But yeah, I've not played it this week. I'm still right at the very, very end and just need to finish it off. But I think I'll do that tomorrow, so I'm on a train.
Genuine.
Yeah, great game.
Awesome game.
So my number 6 is less awesome than that. It's Downhill Extreme on the iPhone. Only playing it for review. It's a free game where you longboard down big hills. It's perfectly fine. I talked about it last week briefly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
For a free game, like, it looks bloody nice on a 4S. Looks like sort of a high def PS2 game, or a really, really early next gen game from like 2005, which is quite impressive for a phone. It's a little bit fiddly. If you hit the very side of the road, you instantly fall off your longboard. But it's one of those games that when the iPhone first came out, you'd have games like this and people would be really, really impressed. Like, wow, that's like a real game. And it still feels like that. There are far more complete and interesting games on the iPhone, but it's free. And if you like longboarding, and I don't know, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I don't really have anything bad to say about it.
Oh, I thought you were like, it's less awesome than that. It's rubbish. I thought you were going to slate it.
Oh no. It's just I'm completely ambivalent towards it, to be honest. But I'd be a dick to be mean about it because it's free and does exactly what it suggests it's going to do perfectly well.
Genuine. I'll swerve it.
Yeah, don't bother. But if you like fucking longboards or something, I don't know.
Yeah. Genuine. Okay, right, my number 5 is FIFA 12, but the Euro expansion, which I finally got hold of last week. The funny thing about FIFA 12 is that, I don't know if this is the same for everyone, it might just be that my Xbox is old, but whenever I turn FIFA 12 on and the opening menu comes and that little EA Sports dial starts spinning, it starts stuttering, pausing. I always think it's going to crash my Xbox. It looks like
mine does that too.
It always worries me. But I mean, when you take into account the amount of information that it tracks from this FIFA and the other FIFAs and online stuff as well, I mean, it's quite impressive. So it's understandable that it's buckling a little bit. But what I did when I installed the DLC, it asked me to do an update for the game, so I did that. And when I booted it up, it was fine. Slick as you like. I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was really great. I went straight into the Euro expansion and I just jumped straight into a Euro tournament, single player. And the first game I played against, I was Holland, I was playing against France, and I got smashed. To say I got smashed is an understatement. I think the final score was 14-0.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and as you know, that kind of annoyed me a little bit. I'm glad my neighbours weren't home because someone would have probably called the police thinking someone was being killed because I was not happy about it. But I realised that despite all of that tracking that it does, that this had for some reason defaulted me to like World Superstar difficulty mode,
right.
Which was a little bit annoying. And also it had taken my default Pro Evo controls and put me on FIFA controls.
Right, so you were trying to cross the whole time.
The only two times when I got near the goal and I went to shoot, I just skied the ball, which I took really well. So it's just FIFA really just does something to me. Even when I'm playing AI, I'm playing the single player. I've always got it in my head that there's some little kid sitting there going, and I'm like, you little shit, I want to come over and clap you around the back of the head. So yeah, it winds me up a little bit. But yeah,
football games have wound me up since I was 11 years old to dangerous levels.
Yeah, it is just like, God, but 14-0. I tell you what, I was not taking that on the chin. I was not gracious in defeat there. But
so what did you do?
Just
back it down too easy and do it again? No, just screamed.
Yeah, I'm on like I play football games default on like limp dick difficulty, so I put it down to not easy, but like standard or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And started again, and yeah, it was great. I mean, it's still the same game, but I do like the just the visual bells and whistles of it being a tournament game, because the only time I ever watch football, almost ever, is when there's a something like the Euro or the World Cup. So I kind of get you can't help but get sort of
you get
swept up.
Swept up. That's the word, not sucked up.
And yeah, I like it. I haven't tried that mode. What's the new mode called where it's like Risk?
Expedition. When I thought it was just a typo of exhibition. Yeah. It's like Risk, and it's bloody weird, but
good.
Yeah, so it's a cool idea. It's a better way to play single player than just playing the tournament, I think.
You in between doing the Risk stuff, you are actually playing football matches.
Yeah, you play. That's how you win. You beat them in a football match, and then you take one of their team prisoner and force him to play for you. If you think about it, it's quite horrible.
That sounds genius.
It's a clever idea.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, it's reignited my enjoyment of FIFA. Although I did play online again, and I was so impressed with FIFA 12 the way it seemed to match you up with similar players, whereas I got again completely and utterly spanked by some guy who, of course, watched every single one of his replays. So that was quite irritating. But yeah, FIFA.
Is the FIFA 13 previews appeared online yet?
I haven't seen anything.
I don't want to break any embargoes. It's looking, I don't want to do anything. But yeah, it's looking wicked. I don't think that breaks an embargo.
Okay.
FIFA looks good.
Genuine.
Whenever that happens, I'll talk about it, probably briefly, because I haven't played it. Right, shut up, John. Number 5 is a game on the iPhone called Cubis Creatures. Now, as you know, I often do iPhone reviews, and anything with the word creature or like any fucking animal in it immediately just fills me with a sense of dread because I played so many games like that. This, however, is a really, really good game. It is a block puzzler, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be a platform game. And the fact it has creatures in it is largely irrelevant. All they are is some weird monsters who've fallen asleep with cubes in their mouth, and you have to do this clever block puzzling game to wake him up. I don't know, it doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is the block puzzling. Trying to describe the mechanics of a puzzle game is always really hard. I found it difficult to write. It's probably even difficulter. Yeah, I can't even speak, so it's definitely difficulter. It's like a 3-dimensional block puzzle, a match 3 type deal, but you can fire coloured blocks in from the bottom or the right of a square grid, and later on you get little wedge blocks that can send your blocks up one level, so it works horizontally and vertically. There's a free version, a light version, to check out, which I'd highly recommend. It's one of the nicest block puzzles I've played in ages. It has really good like sound effects as well. You know, like in a great puzzle game when everything combines and the sound is like really satisfying little sounds when everything falls apart.
Yeah.
You know, like in Lumines or even Tetris. And it has ideas that you think, how the fuck are they still coming up with clever ideas for this type of game? But there's loads of stuff that's never been in anything. Yeah, check it out, mate. Cubis Creatures. For once, there is a light version, so you don't have to risk anything. I think you'd love it. I know this type of shit you like.
Cubis Creatures.
Yeah, I dropped a 9 bomb on it for the review, so yeah, it's bloody good.
Shit.
Really good.
So it's like it's new, I assume.
Yeah, I don't think it's been around long. It may be 6 weeks or something like that, but yeah, it looks bloody nice on a 4S as well. Really bright and colourful and pin sharp.
It's not got loads of animals going wee.
No. It does. There's a cutscene. You know how all these games have like sort of storyboarded cutscenes at the beginning with some bizarre story about animals having to rescue something.
Yeah.
And it has that, but then after that, it's just an asleep animal with a bunch of cubes in its mouth. It might as well just be a fucking drawing at a moon or Leonardo DiCaprio. It doesn't matter what it is in the background. All that matters is the cubes.
Okay, that sounds interesting. All right. I always feel like I'm done with block puzzlers, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah, check out the Freezy version.
I will. Incidentally, this just came to me now. What is that name of that? Oh, it's not really a block puzzler, but it was on the Atari Lynx, and it had these things coming towards you. Clacks. I think it was Clacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I mean, maybe that game was terrible, but I don't know why it hasn't been rebooted because I'd love to play.
Maybe I bet it's on the iPhone somewhere.
Oh, I might search for that because I just remembered I used to love that.
Mate. Clacks it up.
Clacks a million. What number was that? That was your 5, right?
That was my 5Zs, yeah.
My number 4 is Scarface on the iPhone.
Wow.
Have you played?
What's that? No, I mean, I remember Scarface The World Is Yours on the PS2.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a sort of because they're porting a lot of PS2 games like Grand Theft Auto and whatnot, I thought maybe that was it. But it was free. Only for a limited time, I think for a limited time. But it was in the top 5 of the App Store chart, which I rarely visit, but I was there, so I just thought, fuck it, I'll download it. I hate myself because it is a dog shit game. But I was genuinely, I was just playing it all of Sunday. I couldn't leave it alone.
What do you do in it?
I've read reviews of it, and people say that it's exactly like Mafia Wars, and I never played Mafia Wars. But you basically do nothing. You go in, you're building, you're doing all this criminal stuff, but all it involves, everything you do, whether you're going to buy a new property or whether you're building up your defences or whether you're going to interrogate someone or you're going to do a drug deal, you just tap on a building. Tony Montana strides up, tap it again. He says an audio soundbite. I'm going to try and do this without doing my Tony Montana impression because it's the worst thing in the world. But whenever you quote from that film, you feel like you have to.
Yeah.
He'll do a soundbite from one of his famous phrases, and then it's
how many are there in total?
God, only 3 or 4. Sorry, I can't do it. And then money bounces out, XP bounces out, and you tap them, and you go on to do the next thing. You just tap things, tap. I can't believe how compelling it was. You build up. It's nonsense. You're just tapping a screen, doing essentially nothing. And it's got the most.
It sounds like the equivalent of cocaine.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, Imagine if that was their intention. Geniuses. I'm sure it wasn't, because it's got the most brutal. You run out of. You have to keep your energy up in order to go and fulfill objectives, and the only way to get more energy is to get more cocaine. And that runs out very quickly, and you have to wait. And I mean wait for it to replenish, or you're put on the App Store £3 for so many packs of cocaine.
It is cocaine.
Yeah, I mean it's so dodgy. I never bought any, but I did find myself putting my phone down, and then just sort of, have I left it long enough? Have I left it long enough? Can I go and tap a few more buildings? And I mean, it's claptrap shit, and I'm annoyed that it's got me. But then again, I suppose that type of game has been a phenomenon for ages, and I never got swept up in it. So the fact that I was compelled to go back repeatedly says something about it. But
something about you.
Well, exactly. Okay, maybe that's the point, really. But man, it is a shit game.
I want to play it now, just to hear the sound effects.
Yeah, I mean they're quite. I mean, there's like digitised stills from the film.
Sweet.
It's not
just the fucking SNES.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't understand why I was compelled last Sunday to repeatedly go and play a game that I knew was appalling, and I was just sitting there, tap. All I got is my balls and my word. I can't believe I did that. Tap another building, tap another thing. I mean, it's just asinine dog shit. And then every 10 minutes, you want to keep playing? Sorry, that's not a soundbite. They say if you want to keep playing, spend some money or wait a long time. So I kept waiting a long time, but something about tapping buildings really did it for me. Fuck knows why.
Why me?
Maybe you can be. I'm not really au fait with iPhone games in general, so if you have a look at it for 5 minutes, if it's still free, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I might do.
And then you can do your Tony Montana impression.
Ooh-ah. Right. Apologies. Number 4 for me is Spelltower. I can't stop playing Spelltower. It's just a fine puzzler. I've talked about it loads. Have you got it yet?
Do you know what I've just realised? I went to the App Store to buy that, and in the 5 seconds it took, I forgot what I was there for, and I got Scarface. So yeah,
that's amazing.
I'll get it again.
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it. It's just a really well-made, clever puzzler. I've talked about it loads. It's basically a combination of Luminous Tetris and a word search, designed by a guy called Zach Gage, who's a concept artist in New York, who's getting into games, not in a pretentious way, just in a genuine way. And yeah, it's 69p, I think, and everybody should play Spelltower if you like words and puzzling and iPhones.
Aren't they going to bring out a Spelltower 2 where there's some kind of multiplayer?
I think there's multiplayer in this one, but I failed to play it yet.
Oh, I thought you said it was just like it's purely single player.
No, I said the exact opposite.
I could have sworn. Sorry, that's my brain for you. I thought you said that it was purely.
I said I haven't checked out the multiplayer yet, but I'm pretty sure there is one. You can slide the whole menu across, and there's a whole multiplayer menu. So yeah, that'll be my thing. I'll check that out for next week.
Genuine. Okay, right. My number.
Get it? Yeah. Don't get fucking Jaws the game or.
Hold on, I think I've got Jaws the game.
Donnie Brasco online or whatever.
I've got Jaws the game. Is that any good? I think it's another one that I found for free.
Oh, is that on the iPhone? I've not played it on the iPhone. Did you ever play Jaws Unleashed on the Xbox?
No, but I
had to get a key card. You had to get a key card with Jaws to get through a door. I couldn't find it, so I stopped playing it.
Well, you were playing as the shark.
Yeah, you had to get a key card. That was enough for me.
That sounds awesome.
It really wasn't. This isn't in a funny way.
I'm pretty sure I saw a story about the copies of that fetching an absolutely obscene amount on eBay. I might be wrong. But that's the kind of game I'd like to play. But I still want to play The Shield, the game. There's a couple of really naff PS2 games that I've always...
The Sopranos as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, Road to something or other.
The Shield, the game is terrible.
No, but it's The Shield, though.
Yeah, but it's really bad.
All right, I'll take your word. Okay, my number 3 is The Walking Dead on the 360 or PS3. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really terrific. I mean, everyone knows what those... Well, most people know what those games are, but it's a great... sort of sit down and play with somebody. I played it with my girlfriend and we kept passing the pad.
That's exactly what we did.
But did you ever get infuriated? Because she'd sometimes say the wrong thing and I'm like, ah.
No, not so much. I think she did with me though.
No, she did with we were bickering the whole way through. I was like, don't say that. And it's so engaging. I mean, I think the reason you are so happy with the writing is because your dislike of the writing in the TV show is I don't understand, because I think that's a really well written TV show. But Yeah, I mean, effortlessly engaging. Really, the perfect length. I really felt like I got my money's worth, and it was nice. It was the equivalent of sitting down. We did it on a Saturday evening. It's like watching a really meaty, engrossing film.
Yeah, you did basically exactly what we did. You're pumped for the next one? Yeah, I am. I want to see what happens next.
Very much so. Taking something. I can't remember whether you said it on the podcast or you said it on Twitter or something, but I didn't look at the coming next.
Yeah, I don't like stuff like that anyway. I don't even like film trailers, as you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, look away, and my half's like that as well. But yeah, it seemed to be a lot of. I kind of glanced at it, and there was a lot given away. But yeah, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
The beauty. I knew very little about the first episode going in, which is good, apart from the fact it existed and it looked interesting, and it was so cheap that I thought, well, I'll definitely take a punt on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think I'm really pleased with it. I've never. I mean, I tried the Back to the Future game that they did. That I thought was quite good. Those games don't tend to grip me. I was never one of those.
This is their best one, isn't it?
That I've played, but I never could. Friends always tried to sit me down in front of Monkey Islands, and I was just like,
they're more like traditional, old school point and click. And what I always liked about point and click games were the characters and the story, and I'd never liked the puzzles.
Yeah.
And this is character, story, and not a huge amount of puzzles. And the ones that are there make sense. They're not really obscure and obtuse.
Yeah. But my only worry is that I feel like I should have waited until they brought them all out together on a disc, because my brain is so shit that
they'll do it previously though.
And it will be specific to what you did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've just made that up, but I'm so sure they will.
That would be great if they do, because I forget everything in 5 seconds. So there was things that were happening, really cool things where so and so will remember that you said that, and I'm like, shit. I felt like taking a note because I was like, I know I'm going to trip up and like say something, contradict myself later on, and then everyone's going to turn on me and shoot me, and then they'll be like, you have to pay for the additional episodes even though you're dead, and you just have to sit and watch it.
They did previously on their other games, I think, so that might be wrong. I might have forgotten myself. I'm pretty sure they did it on Sam and Max, so okay. I think we'll be all right there.
Okay, well, yeah, it's a really terrific game, properly gripping, moments of genuine, like, it's so engrossing. We were so engrossed in it. I think they've done a stupendous job.
Yeah, I totally agree. Love it. Can't wait for the next one, and less than the price of a pint,
Genuine.
Which is ridiculous.
No doubt.
My number 3 is Minecraft.
360?
Yes, 360. I played it in 2-player split screen with my brother. And my brother is the type of person that Minecraft would massively appeal to. He loves anything like that where you can just start building shit and just be lost in a world like that. He is the target market. I am not. So what intrigued me about Minecraft is the kind of survival horror element to it. Do you know much about that?
No. Can you just explain Minecraft to me? It's one of those games that I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know enough.
Dropped in a randomly generated world. Everything's made of blocks. Okay. You can mine basically with your hands. You can dig stuff up. Everything in the world has properties. So it'd be sand. You dig below it, it turns into like stone. You can build stuff out of you mine something and it turns into a small block. You collect it and then you can then place them in other places. Because everything has a property, you can build stuff. So you can not only build houses and things, but you can craft things like tools and weapons. So eventually you craft yourself a pickaxe, and then you can get through the stone, and then you can make stronger things, blah, 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 blah. Little weird animals roam the world, like piggies and cows. You can kill them for meat or farm. Basically, you can do whatever you want. But the most interesting thing that happens is at night, because it's on a day-night cycle, monsters come to kill you. So the first thing you need to do is build yourself a house that they can't get in, with a bed and a torch, because they don't like the light. So yeah, it has this weird like survival element to it, and you can turn that off, but that is kind of what the game is, and it gives the whole thing a purpose that otherwise it would just be a really kind of clever, complicated Lego set, which is basically what it is in the day, but you're always building towards the purpose of trying to survive, and eventually, unfortunately with my brain, the what the fuck am I doing in my life switch clicks, and I don't want to play it anymore.
Do you have to spend shitloads of time? Do you need to spend hours and hours to get the most out of it?
It's the type of game that would make you spend hours and hours if you're that way inclined. Our buddy Zeno, who makes brilliant Little Big Planet levels, I would recommend he doesn't go anywhere near this game because we will never see him again. I can completely see the appeal for that type of brain because like I said, because my brother's like that, and I've known him obviously for so long. The game is clearly a sort of masterwork in many ways. It's amazingly complex, but still completely accessible. I picked up what was going on within 5 minutes. The 360 version is really well done. I've not played it on a mouse and keyboard or anything, but there didn't seem to be any barriers to what I was able to do because I was playing on a pad. But I think to you and I, it's not something that would captivate us, even though I was impressed by what it was and is.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not something you can really take. I mean, it kind of is. I mean, for what I've heard, the amount of content is you get 1,600 is basically a bargain, but it seems too much of a punt for something that I know I could really, really dislike.
I don't think you'd dislike it. I just don't think it would. I think you'd probably do what I did. Is like you go, because when I built the house and I put a little tower on top, I was like, oh, wicked! Look what I did. Well, we both did it together, and then he was like, I need to go home and buy this game immediately, and I was just like, I don't ever really need to play it again. So that it's not me not liking it. It's just it doesn't suck me in. The idea of making some giant floating castle next or something like that. I don't care. I'd rather have something with a bit more of a purpose. But that's just my brain, not the game.
Genuine. I don't know. I feel like I want to sit this one out, but you have to have an opinion on it, don't you?
You do. It would be good for you to play as much as I have. I was lucky enough to get a review copy, so I didn't have to because it's quite expensive. But for that reason, just so professionally you know what it is. But having known you for so long, I don't think it would appeal to you.
Genuine. Well, I'm going to try. I mean, hopefully someone I know. It annoys me that I don't know what it is. It's such a phenomenon, and I don't even understand it. And I need to. Yeah, I do want to. I will have a go.
Let's see what the trial is.
Is there a trial? Of course, there must be.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah, it's definitely worth seeing what that is.
Yeah, genuine. Okay, I might do that. Right. Okay, my number 2, Trials Evolution. What needs to be said? I've said it's horrendously addictive. But the thing is, I think it speaks volumes that the thing that we keep going back to. I'm playing it a lot on multiplayer, primarily on multiplayer. Because I can't really be bothered with the stress of getting into the sort of battle over high scores, because my friends will just destroy them straight away because they've got more time than I have and not more skills, so fuck you all. We're doing Gigatrack on multiplayer, and I
still need to do it. Give me a text.
Yeah, it's the best way to experience the game, because the game's the level's so big that you're constantly, you think you're way behind, and then they get stitched up on a bit, and then you pass. It's just really, it feels like a real competition. And the shorter levels are good, but because they're short, you could fuck up twice, and then you get countdowned out because someone's had a clear run, which is. Although I think there needs to be some kind of restriction on how long you take to do it. I don't like the fact that it's 10 seconds, so you can just get counted out when you're sort of nearly at the finish line, which is kind of irritating. But yeah, Gigatrack on multiplayer, I think that's the best way to experience the game. Yeah,
I definitely need to do it. And yeah, it's one of those games that we'll probably play for ages, but you run out of stuff to say, don't you?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's a masterpiece. You have to play it.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone is.
Yeah, no doubt.
So my number 2 is Spec Ops The Line. Now I've been playing, I think, a near complete version, which is under embargo, so I won't talk too much about it, but there's a demo out, so I feel I can talk about it in fairly broad strokes. I'm really, really impressed with it so far. Yeah. I was kind of put off by the fact, you mentioned it ages ago when you played it, that they used the Gears font and some of the Gears styling on, like the Gears font for the HUD stuff and the objective stuff, which is just weird. And then they used the the Gears styling on the loading screens with like the sort of kind of torn screen with the blood. It's like it's almost a shame that they felt the need to do that, because I mean the game is essentially Gears in terms of how it plays at a sort of fundamental level, which is fine, but it has so much more interesting stuff to say for itself that it's a shame that they kind of felt somewhere along the line that they needed to kind of echo Gears that resonantly. What's far more interesting is, I mean, I don't know exactly what's in the demo, so I don't want to be too explicit, but the setting's brilliant. The kind of sandstorm destroyed Dubai is an inspired setting. It creates some amazing set design moments, which almost have my jaw drop at times, and also some dynamics where the sand's actually part of the game. like you can shoot windows at certain points and the sand will pour through and crush people.
But you can stitch yourself up doing that as well.
Yes. But it's not, it's more like specific moments and areas rather than completely dynamic. But I think that's probably for the best because it allows them to kind of tell a directed story. And the stuff to do with the story is, the dialogue's not amazing, but the premise and the kind of situations that you're put in are really compelling. And I just want to see what happens next. And that's rare for a game like that. Most of the time I don't even know who the hell I'm playing as, and I have no idea what's going on. But the thing that's driving me through in Spec Ops is, and I wish they'd just called it The Line. I think it should just be called The Line. I understand why it's called Spec Ops The Line.
The Line's a shite title. The Line?
Well, okay. Well, I don't know if it's that bad a title, but I don't want to say why.
It doesn't sound like an action game, The Line. I think if I saw that in a shop, I'd be like, The Line?
Yeah, I know, but the Spec Ops just makes it sound like generic and boring, which it's not.
Yeah.
It is generic in some ways because it is Gears, but it's probably the nicest Gears clone I've played so far in terms of how weighty it is as well.
Have you got to any of those bits where you have to make a sort of moral choice?
I do believe. I think that stuff's embargoed on the code I'm playing, so I don't want to be in a situation where I'm fucking anyone off. So I'll talk about those sort of things. But I think it's dropped by next week. So I'll talk about those more next week. But yeah, I'm really, really impressed with it so far.
Yeah,
and
really
there's some interesting stuff going on that I can go into more next week. That's a real dickhead thing to have to say because that's really frustrating for everybody. But hopefully if you listen next week, I can go into a bit more detail.
Genuine, yeah. I played the opening hour or so, and I just, really, really, really impressed. I hope it does well, and I hope that it doesn't let itself down in the latter stages. But
yes,
I really want to see where they take the whole your character starting to go mental thing. Really can't wait to play that. Very
impressed and surprised.
Yeah, the same here. That's how I was. I'm really, really looking forward to the final thing. Okay, my number one is Battlefield 3.
You're back.
Oh, of course I'm back. Batters all day. It's going to be Batters weekend this weekend as well. Battlefield non-stop. What can I say? It's amazing. The servers are starting to get a bit more. Initially, it's like XXX Sniper will boot you if there's a combination of rush maps and conquest, which is annoying if you want to just play one or the other. Just a clusterfuck. Now they're starting to streamline, and there's people who clearly have servers that they want to stay there. So they're sort of trying to build a community around them, they say what they are rather than just a load of gibberish like all rush, ground maps and all that stuff. But Battlefield 3 is still awesome. That's it.
That's for life, isn't it, mate? That's for life.
That's it, mate.
My number one is a game in a reasonably similar vein to that. Actually, is Starhawk on PS3. Did you play Warhawk?
No.
Warhawk was kind of similar to Batters in terms of ground troops, aerial, flying shit around, big open maps, objective-based gameplay, all that sort of stuff. Starhawk is kind of that with an RTS element and kind of Firefly setting, like that space western kind of deal, a bit like Rage almost. Well, the setting and everything like that is fine. That stuff doesn't tick many boxes for me personally. It's space westerns, but I know a lot of people get off in that sort of thing. What's better is the fundamentals are brilliant in Starhawk. Like the shooting's really tight, the movement's really nice. All the stuff that you really need to be there and not worrying about in a shooter is there and present. You can take off in Starhawks and fly high over the map, or in some you're in space and you can sort of land on different space platforms, I guess you call them. So the scope when you do that is amazing, even more so than in Battlefield, I'd say. And the RCS element, which is really interesting, is the whole game's based around this stuff called Rift, which is like a resource. You get it from killing enemies. It's basically orbs that come out like in any other game. You can then bring up a radial menu and drop in sniper towers, tank bays, fucking supply bunkers, stuff like that, and they just drop out the sky and sort of explode in front of you. So it makes capture the flag really, really interesting because you can build walls and stuff as well. So every time you play it, it's a completely different dynamic because you don't know how they're going to defend their flag or how they're going to attack. It makes for some really dramatic moments. I need to play more to see if it's really going to be a game that grabs me for a long time. But for what it is, it's hard to pick faults at it. They've just really done a really terrific job making a multiplayer game.
It's multiplayer only. There's no campaign.
No, there is a campaign, but it's one of those campaigns that's just like teaching you how to play the multiplayer. It's not as cut and dry as that. There is a story, but the story's crap. To be honest, I wish it was just more a short tutorial, because I just felt the whole time I'm playing it, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be more fun in multiplayer by far, and I don't need all these people with crap Wild West accents telling me what's going on with some stuff. I don't care. Just let me shoot people.
Is it a download only?
No. It's a box game.
Oh,
excuse me. I think it's downloadable as well, but it's a full price game. It certainly has the production values to back that up, and I think it's going to be one of those games that gets like a real solid community behind it. So it doesn't do Call of Duty numbers or anything silly like that. But I think there'll always be a base of people playing. It's like 32 players online, really solid, really smooth, really nice looking, loads of cool ideas, and everything works really well so far. So yeah, Starhawk, really impressed, really good.
That sounds really interesting. It's very,
very good.
Yeah, I thought it was something other than that. I thought it was something a lot more straightforward. And no, that sounds really interesting. Shit, that's.
Yeah, I mean, and don't be put off by the RTS words. It's not like hardcore strategy. It's just.
I don't mind RTS though. That sounds.
No, I know you don't.
Bringing that into the mix sounds really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's really fast and kind of kinetic and exciting.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds fucking promising.
It's good, mate. It's good. You should get hold of it.
Genuine. That's interesting. Shit. Cool. Right, okay, that's us done. Thank you for listening. There wasn't really much new this week. Next week, I assume, is going to be all about Maximilian Payne.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, thanks again for listening. Check out our site, thefineartplaylist.com. And yes, see you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, peace out. Love you all.